Alright guys, welcome to McKola TV. Adam, this is the preview for Leicester City against Manchester United at the King Power Stadium. United travel to the home of the champions, who currently sit 2 points outside the relegation zone. They're having a dreadful season at the moment. Although they progressed from the group stages of the Champions League and looked comfortable in that competition, it hasn't been going well for them in the league. Claudio Ranieri is under pressure. Leicester City conceding goals left, right and centre. And they come into this game without winning in 4. So 3 defeats and 1 draw on the spin. That draw coming against Derby in the Cup. So Leicester City aren't in great form. But then you look at Manchester United, and Manchester United aren't in great form either. Yes, we may have been on that long unbeaten run which ended last week against Hull City, although we still went through in the cup final, But of course, we drew with Hull at home. We've drawn a couple of games on the bounce now in the league. It's just not been good enough in terms of picking up points and closing that gap. And every time Manchester United have had an opportunity to close the gap, we have failed to do so. Now, another opportunity has presented itself this weekend with Chelsea beating Arsenal 3-1, Hull City beating Liverpool 2-0. Manchester United can close the gap on them teams to 2 points to Arsenal and 1 point to Liverpool with a win. Will we do it though? I've been watching these results coming through and I've been kind of sulking a little bit because it's just felt really shit after that Hull City game. That 0-0 draw against Hull. Granted, Hull have been a lot better under Silva. He's done fantastically well with them. But I thought after the defeat against them in the Cup, we'd know exactly how to handle them. And we'd go and do a professional job and get the points, especially with the way the results had been. But we just seemed to bottle it. And it weren't good enough on the day. The performance just wasn't good enough. Now, during the game, I was talking about the referees being poor. And a lot of people were like, oh, you can't blame the referee. I wasn't blaming the referee for the performance and the result. Manchester United didn't deserve anything from that game. Actually, we got what we deserved, which was 1 point. And it could have been worse when Hull City hit the post towards the end. But the refereeing was poor, and that's all that I was pointing out. So just pointing out the refereeing isn't poor isn't mean I'm using that as an excuse. It's just pointing out that it was shit, which it has been for the whole season. But for both teams as well, let me point that out. So yeah, United weren't good enough that day. We didn't deserve anything and we blew it. And we blew a big opportunity to close the gap. And we've got another one now. And even though I'm thinking about, if we win tomorrow, it'll be a point behind Liverpool and 2 points behind Arsenal. I keep thinking, if we beat Hull and we won tomorrow, then it would be above Liverpool and joint with Arsenal. So it's really, really frustrating. And I think there's a lot of games at Old Trafford this season which have made us feel that way. Stoke, Burnley, West Ham, Arsenal, Liverpool. And then, of course, Hull. That's 12 points there. And I know it's easy to say, ifs and buts, but 12 points. And when you look at the way those games went, the 12 points that we should have been banking. You can take 1 or 2 results. You can take a 1-1 draw with Arsenal, 1-1 draw with Liverpool. But in those other games, we shouldn't have been dropping points. And it's going to come back to haunt us. It already is coming back to haunt us. But still, it's not over. Mathematically, it's possible. Manchester United have some sort of momentum. We haven't lost in the league for a long time. And now we come to Leicester, a team that are under their own pressures. We need to win this game. No fucking about. Jose Mourinho, in his press conference, confirmed there'd be no Phil Jones who went off injured in that Hull City game. So I think he will go with Eric Bailly, who's back from the African Cup of Nations. And I think he'll go with Marcus Rojo. I know Chris Smalling scored that fantastic header in the Cup. And he's done okay. But overall, I think Chris Smalling has fallen behind in the pecking order. Which is incredible when you consider where Rojo and Jones were. Bailly being a new signing. Chris Smalling was looked at as our main centre-half. And now he's dropped back a little bit in the pecking order, which is full credit to the likes of Rojo and Jones. Jones obviously picking up an injury again, which is a bit of a worry. But I think Bailly and Rojo will keep Smalling out of the team, which shows that Smalling's got a lot of work on his hands to keep his spot. And it's always good to have competition for places, but at centre-half as well, Smalling's been playing and you need him to be composed, you need him to be calm, and he hasn't quite been that when he has been given opportunities. So he needs to improve, but I think Jose will go with Bailly and Rojo. In that defence though as well, I want to see Luke Shaw at left-back. We missed something against Hull. Going forward from left-back, Daley Blind did okay at times, and I think Daley Blind is decent at getting forward. But Martial, all these guys when they play on the left, They missed that fullback helping them out. Play Luke Shaw. Please play Luke Shaw. And on that note, while we're on the left-hand side, Martial. I'd start Martial in this game because Anthony Martial inexplicably out for the game against Hull. Now, we played with a strong team still, so you couldn't complain. Rashford coming out there was fine. But I think Marcus Rashford needs to go to being backup for Zlatan more often than not. Because when we need to change things up in the game and Rashford's out wide, who's coming off the bench to replace Zlatan? Because at times Zlatan's been poor. He was very, very poor against Hull. Now, earlier in the season when he wasn't scoring, he was still contributing in terms of his team play. That performance against Hull wasn't good enough. So when we want to change it up, we've got no one to bring on. Also, Anthony Martial, he got those 2 assists against Wigan in the Cup. Yes, it's only Wigan. And a disallowed goal as well, which wasn't his fault. So, why didn't he play in that game against Hull? I just think it's holding him back a little bit. And I think, yes, he's done the similar with Mkhitaryan and Shaw. But, come on, man. Just let him off the leash. Let Martial go. And I think this game against Leicester as well, they'll be playing and they'll be leaving gaps at the back. They'll have to be forced to come out against us. And Anthony Martial on the counter-attack can be excellent. And I think, I was watching Eden Hazard today. Eden Hazard's excellent goal. Martial is capable of doing that. Martial is capable of reaching those levels. But we've got to nurture this player. We've got to nurture this talent and give him the opportunity to do it. And let him off the leash against Leicester, please. As for Leicester City, as I said earlier, they haven't won in 4 games. 3 defeats and a draw. No Ulloa, no Slimani for this match for them. They've been looking very poor recently. Everything that you considered about them last season, they had great team ethic. They worked hard. They were great on the counter-attack, solid in the defence. They haven't been any of those things this season. But they will still provide a threat at the King Power Stadium. If Manchester United don't perform like we have been recently, then they'll punish us. They've still got threats in their team, Vardy, Mahrez, etc. So we need to be on our toes. I like Damari Gray as well. I think he's a fantastic talent. So United need to be at it. And we need to make sure, because Leicester have got it all to play for. 2 points above the relegation zone. They really need the points. United really need the points too. Everton won this weekend, closing that gap a little bit to us. So we don't want to be looking over our shoulders either. But at the same time, if we win, we have closed that gap incredibly well. And when you think about the run that we've been on, although it has been frustrating, this is where I try and grab a silver lining. We would have closed that gap so much. I remember it was 10, 11 points from second place at one point in the season. And it'll be a couple of points. So if we can do that, we'll be in a great position to go on in the season. And an away win against Leicester will boost confidence fantastically. We've got Europa League football returning soon as well. Obviously, we've got a week off before the Watford game, but Europa League football returning soon. So we need to start picking up in the points in the league, because I'm worrying that the Europa League games are going to take it out of us a little bit. And we don't want that to happen. So we need to get points, man. We don't want these big pressure games coming thick and fast when we got the Europa League. Of course, there's going to be pressure. But we just pile on the pressure the more that these draws add up. The more that we're not picking up points. And the more we're not closing the gap on those guys ahead of us. The team that I would go with for the game is David De Gea in goal. Valencia, Bailly, Rojo and Shaw. Carrick, Herrera, Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Martial and Zlatan. I think you could make an argument to play Mata instead of Carrick, but I think we'll go with this team for this game. I want to see Martial, man. Please play Martial. Free him. And I think we'll win if we play that team. I think we'll win this game. I think Jose would have got into them after that Hull City game. And hopefully that'll be the wake-up call we need now to go on another run, because it felt like a defeat. I felt really down after that game, and I'm sure the players did as well. So we need to use that to kick us on. We've been given another opportunity by the teams around us this weekend. So let's take it. I'm going 2-1 United with Zlatan and Martial on the score sheet. Guys, what do you think? Get your comments in below on the things that we've discussed today. Who starts at centre-half? Would you bring Martial in? Would you bring Mata instead of Carrick in and play a 4-2-3-1 instead of the 4-3-3? What are your thoughts on that? Does Rashford stay in the team for you? What are your thoughts on the starting 11? Leicester City, will they provide us any threat? Are they going to cause an upset to us anyway? Because, I mean, them winning, the champions winning at home isn't usually an upset, but I'm sure if they beat us, it will be this weekend. So get your comments in below on everything we've discussed today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment and share. I'm Adam McKola. I'm out of here.